What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch in the Rube.
Welcome to Couch in the Rube, our Monday afternoon show presented by our friends at Comcast Xfinity. 5 years right now. No contracts, peace of mind for your future self. Simple and seamless. Just as Wi-Fi should be. Data equipment, everything you need included. No contracts, no catch, just connection. Plus an unlimited mobile line included for 1 year on Xfinity. $55 a month. Go to Xfinity.com to shop the offer. They've got other offers there that may fit your needs. Some great stuff. Xfinity.com. Jason, it is good to be back. How you doing, man?
Peacock.
Hey, buddy. Looking dapper over there. Look at you.
Am I dapper?
Yeah, I like to look you up and down after a vacation, see what you were doing, what you were about. Yeah. Looks like you got a new shirt.
No, this is an old
little
shirt.
Tan.
Tan,
new to the viewer because you wear the same 4 shirts.
Yeah.
And I really shouldn't throw shade because I think this Planet 13 shirt I have, I wear every 2 shows. So
this shirt I got because, and it actually is a little more dapper than some of them for those are watching on YouTube. And by the way, we always appreciate if you watch there, subscribe. But
hit like and all that shit we have to do. We're trying. We're trying on the YouTube thing, putting out clips. Hopefully, people are enjoying those. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
I got this shirt before we went to Paris a couple years ago. My wife said she didn't want me to wear my normal clothes.
Smart.
And so I picked out a few others that looked a little more European. I think this is the exact shirt. Actually, some people have seen
That's European?
Some people have seen the photo of me that Dominic especially likes to repost eating a French onion soup in Paris. I think I'm wearing this shirt that day.
Hell yeah. That's where I recognize that from. That's my favorite picture.
Yeah.
It's in our digital frame at home. And every once in a while it pops up. I look over. I'm like, oh, look at Couch enjoying soup. Like I've never seen you so happy. Even when we were at Lug Nuts and you had a fucking, groovy donut burger.
Oh, that was amazing. With the fritter bun. Yeah.
Your face was close to that, but I've never seen you so happy about something like that. It looks like AI, But,
yeah. No, if we get Groovy Donuts to serve a good French onion soup with their donuts, I don't know if that would really work.
If you guys can make that happen.
Yeah.
Big seller.
It'd be great.
Those go hand in hand.
How you been, man? You good?
Yeah, dude. I missed doing the show, actually.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, dude, how many more days do we have to go? Of course, all of my golf bets were ready. I've been on a heater for the past 3 weeks. You all of a sudden gave up the Couch in the Rube account or something, or changed the password. I'm like, why is he not retweeting my golf bets or anything? Of course, nobody's seeing them when I just do it myself. I need that backing. So, of course, Portrush this week, the Open. Hopefully we have Harry on this week. I'll give up my bets. I'm sure I'm going to go 0 for this major, but I've been on a semi-heater with my golf bets, so I've been excited about that. I've been chomping at the bit to get back. The Tigers have been ass. I blame Detroit Dan for that, mostly because he, comes back into town from Arizona. If you don't know Detroit Dan, holy shit, get on Twitter and follow that guy. Great hate follow. But anyway, so I blame him, but I blame the show because as soon as we take an extended break, the Tigers are apparently, the sky is falling and everybody's panicking. So thank God we're back. So on the home run derby day, by the way, there's nothing else going on.
It's so many leagues screw this. Not so many leagues. God. A couple leagues screw this week up. It's the deadest week in sports. Like, who cares about the All-Star game at this point? And
I do. I mean, the home run derby. You got Matt Olson tonight plus 750.
That's a little fun. But if I were like MLS, I would have like 5 days of games this week on some sort of network TV, a Fox partnership, not just Apple. Like, this is a chance to show off. Like, there's nothing else happening. It is the deadest week in sports.
This would be your time to shine if you were some league that you were trying to pull some people in.
Absolutely.
These failing football leagues that always do it. But
if you're like the CFL and Canadian football, they've been around a long time.
I'm about to say the CFL is somewhat you can keep. The Canadian league, people still enjoy that up there.
So here's what I discovered, and here's the key to a vacation. I took Twitter completely off my phone. I took social media off my phone.
We've heard that before, but you still have it on your laptop.
I did, but so I wasn't on the laptop very much. So like I'd go online to retweet something I saw that was important, like when Michigan State loses out on Gavin McKenna, Michigan State hockey, or Isaac Howard gets traded and things like that. And I need to retweet that story. I get on there, but it might be 15 hours later or something. It is so key.
15 hours? Well, what's the point after that?
It's a great point. What is the point?
Just put it all down then. I would respect that more.
I was
15 hour late for a quote tweet about a hockey player.
So much happier and healthier without having social media at my fingertips that it makes me wonder some things.
So you're admitting you have zero willpower. Like
Correct.
You couldn't just have the app, the Twitter app.
I put it back on my phone last night, and last night sucked. Yep. It's you
don't have to check it.
I also don't need to eat 3,000 calories a day, but look at my fat ass. There are lots of, you don't have to do this. I mean, I could be a lot better as a human, and I'm not. And so I do hear your voice in my head when I take a shit.
That's true. You could be, but we could all be a little bit better.
Yeah,
but I'm glad you gave up the Twitter. That was nice. Now, do you leave other apps on there? Or is it just, are you admitting that you were powerless against Twitter?
Twitter is my worst scroll because it's the one I respond to. I don't I'll scroll a few minutes before bed or whatever on Instagram and Reels and enjoy them, and that's fun.
A killer. I've sat on the toilet, my legs falling asleep on the toilet because of Instagram.
But I'm not responding. I'm not getting on there. I may like something. I may go down a Les Miserables, rabbit hole or something like that. But I'm not going to get on there and fire off a tweet about Greg Sankey like I already did this morning. Damn,
I missed it. He's back, everybody.
It's not good. It's
not good for who?
For me.
Oh, it's good for us.
I don't know about that.
I think it is. It's good for my golf bets. Come on, log in, damn it. Why don't I have the password?
Well, I can give you the password.
Yeah, but it's not fun when I do it that way.
Okay.
I don't like doing social media in that way.
Okay.
I don't want to retweet myself. I don't know. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah. Should we dig into our hot takes, or our takes, I should say? Before
I don't know. What else is there to do? Do we have any other announcements we have to make? Or
we're off for
how the show
4
works.
weeks. Yeah. One show and then 2 more.
We
weeks
come
vacation.
back and it's the All-Star break where there's absolutely nothing going. I guess we deserve that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, you take 2 weeks in July and then you guys want July takes. So
there's some good takes. This is a good show. The listeners stepped up. I think it's a good.
Well, of course.
It's eclectic. Yeah, there's some really good Michigan State football, basketball, hockey, U of M football, Tigers, lots of Tigers, some July stuff, some shots at us. It'll be fun. So, why don't you begin, sir?
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
I found it interesting that everybody is panicking after this losing streak. Now, the Tigers were swept by Seattle and gave up 35 runs in 3 games, which is not fun. 15 in the 9th innings alone, which is wild to me. But I don't think the sky is falling. We've prepared ourselves for this. Having the best record in Major League Baseball, mostly in the AL, but, having the best record in the league brings with it, you're going to have a losing streak here or there. Look at the Dodgers. They've lost, 7 games in a row? I would be panicking if I were them because you've spent so much money that you have to figure something out before the trade deadline. And I think the Tigers have to do that as well. But really, a lot of people, and by the way, Chris McCoskey needs to get off Twitter as well. I think he needs to delete it. I love Chris. I like following Chris for the Tigers updates, but that guy responds to people who just clearly try to fuck with him and try to sit there and go, the Tigers are done. And then he'll quote tweet that. It's like, Chris, do not fall into that trap, man. And delete it like Couch.
And the problem is it's not his job to defend the Tigers. You know what I mean? He's not supposed to be cheering them along.
Oh, well, that's out the window.
Yeah, that's part of the, yeah.
Chris does cheer on the Tigers, and I respect that because I want someone up there that is going to be a little bit more passionate than guys like yourself who have to sit there and disassociate themselves with it. I do like homers. I like people that sit there and get intense about it, but sitting there and going after a fucking faucet liquor 9743 because he's just trying to get your goat, Chris. Come on, man. You're better than that. But by the way, I just want to bring this up. This was my baked take over the 2 weeks. I think steroids are back. Are steroids back? Can steroids come back?
Is this a Yannick Sinner winning the Wimbledon?
Now, by the way, both Wimbledon, winners were suspended for PEDs, right? Swiatek, whatever, how do you say her last name? Hers was like a heart medication or something like that. Regardless of Wimbledon, I thought it was interesting that Wimbledon both winners were suspended for PEDs. But look at this list. Sluggers with 30-plus home runs before the 2025 All-Star break, Graham, well, there's 5 of them. Cal Raleigh, who's got 38 home runs, one shy of Barry Bonds, who did it in, 03 or something? Remember that? When Barry Bonds' head was like he was wearing a size 9 fitted hat? You got Suarez, who's got 31, Schwarber 30, Ohtani 32. The first time in Major League Baseball history that 5 players have reached the 30 home run mark before the break. Tell me steroids aren't back.
Probably the baseball.
Let's go. What is the disadvantage of steroids? Do you die earlier?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Is that
Answer.
a proven fact?
There's all sorts of evidence they're not good for you. Your balls shrivel up.
Hey, listen, I could use some ball shriveling. I have no problem. I have my balls like hang down to my kneecaps here.
Sorry I brought that up. Yeah.
So I'm just being honest. I'm 46 years old. The balls do hang more than ever, and I would do nothing more. And then you don't want ball reduction surgery. I have no idea what that entails. But if you can tell me I can have some steroids and I will be back to my former self when I was 26 years old and I'll have shorter balls.
The problem is there's a lot.
Sign me up. What is the disadvantage of steroids? We need to look.
A lot of acne, so it's back to being a teenager again.
Acne? That's okay. I wear shirts. I never take my shirt off,
Yeah.
so that's no problem for me. I can deal with back knee. But come on, some of these numbers you have to look at, especially in baseball, and you're going like, man, Manfred might be panicking here.
Okay, you did a lot there in one take. I'm going to try to respond.
Javi Baez, one of the worst hitters last year, historically bad numbers. The motherfucker's an all-star. Steroids are back. I'm so excited.
Couple things.
98 was awesome. McGuire, Sosa, I want that shit again. Cal Raleigh, Shohei Ohtani to break Aaron Judge. Well, it's Judge's record, right? Are we going to? But steroids are back, so everybody's record's in place. So Barry Bonds' record is still there. So let's do this. Let's break Barry Bonds the 73 mark.
You just did a Chris Solari pause a minute ago.
Sorry, what did I do?
That means you paused just enough for me to think it's time for me to jump in, and then you just keep going over me.
Graham.
You're not done yet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you haven't done one of those in a while.
Weeks,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
My bad. All right,
It's the old Solari pause.
That was bad. I apologize.
Okay, to a couple things. One, there's a really good New York Times piece on Sinner and why we should actually believe his claim that he didn't intentionally and barely did anything that was performance enhancing. There's a really good piece on how easy it is for athletes to get contaminated and the lawyers that they hired and how that all worked out. And there are a lot of reasons to believe Sinner. And I urge people to. I think it's actually an athletic
I
piece.
believe
in the
he
New York
wanted
Times.
to be better.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm saying it's an interesting piece on why a reason to believe him. I'm not saying you should believe him. I'm just saying it's a good reason to believe him. On the Tigers front, this will be my first take. I like AJ Hinch.
Uh-oh.
But he did something that really irked me last weekend.
Uh-oh.
He switched the pitching days, Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize. And both of them, who had been pitching extremely well, sucked. And from what the broadcast said, they did it in part to give Skubal the best chance to start the All-Star game by starting him Friday instead of Saturday. I hate the All-Star game. I wish the All-Star games didn't exist. I know the Tigers need a break right now, but nobody cares. The home run derby, fun. All-Star game, who cares? Regardless, you do not have the leeway. You do not have the lead in the division. You do not have the ability to care about the All-Star game and potentially lose a game that you might have not lost elsewhere. Now, maybe it had no effect, but both pitchers sucked. And if one of them had been better on their regular day, if one of those games they had won, and the bullpen's been awful too, and we'll get into there's a lot of things there. But if one of those wins had happened, that's a big deal because you're not playing in your own division anymore. Nobody cares about the division. They're going to win the division. They're going to make the playoffs. But they need to start thinking like a playoff team. They need to start, when they make trades, trading like a team that's going to be in the playoffs. That means bullpen help. Maybe it means one more starting pitcher. Maybe it means a bat. But what they need to think about the postseason. And in the postseason, the way the format is set up, and I don't like baseball's postseason, but the way it's set up is the top 2 seeds, top 2 division winners, get a bye. The third division winner plays in the wild card round. So if you're the Tigers, forget the Twins, who you're up 11.5 games on. I know the Twins are playing a little bit better. The Royals are 12 back. Guardians are 12 back. Those teams are not likely to catch the Tigers unless it's a total collapse, and that's a bigger issue. But they are only 2.5 up on the Astros for the And what was it? One more game than that, 3.5 up on the Blue Jays. Those are the teams they got to worry about. The teams that are in those other divisions that they've got to stay in front of, so they get so that's a whole extra playoff series. You don't have to play. You can set your pitching rotation. So Scooball's going on day one. You can set everything you want. You get a couple days off. I know sometimes that hurts momentum and all that stuff, but like that's what you want. That's what you're playing for. You do not have the ability to waste a game for the fucking who gives a rat's ass All-Star game. The All-Star.
Why are you so anti-All-Star game?
The baseball.
You don't have any
All-Star
fond
game.
memories of it from when you were like a kid?
I wasn't born in 1942. Nobody cares about the All-Star games anymore. The All-Star games are boring as heck. For home run derby, cool. All-Star game, nobody cares about. I covered an All-Star game in 2005 when it was in Detroit. Never been more bored in my life. Just did not care.
That was 20 years ago.
It's a baseball game with a bunch of guys that you remotely know and don't care. It's just the honor is great. I think it's cool, but in terms of, and I'm not saying you don't play the game, but you don't set up a pitcher to start it at the expense of their normal routine, and when you wind up losing that game, and maybe again it had nothing to do with it, but you can't afford. You don't have that wiggle room. You don't. People think they do because they're up 11.5. The division's over. They're not playing in their division anymore. They're playing against the Blue Jays and the Yankees and the Astros and the Mariners to some degree. Those are the teams that they need to pay attention to.
So it's your feeling that if the pitchers would have kept their regular schedules,
who knows?
It would have possibly been different.
The fact that Scooble and Mize, who've both been fantastic, were both awful in 2 days in a row. When you switch their days, I don't love. You know what I mean? That's what I don't.
Is it possible that Scooble could have an off day?
Yes.
No matter how.
It's possible. Everything I'm saying is irrelevant.
Okay.
But to me, the All-Star game is not a reason. It's an exhibition. It's not a reason to do something that perhaps changes the vibes you have going. And there are bigger issues. Like, again, the bullpen is dreadful. They clearly need to go get at least one arm, probably two there, to be a factor in the postseason. Because this just isn't going to work. And maybe some guys are pitching poorly or will be pitching better and be a little healthier and all that. And maybe you'll be able to put a starter back there and all that stuff. There's some But
do we look back at last season whatsoever and some of the guys that were historically bad, like I mentioned, Javi, and these guys that are pitching, there are relievers now that don't look great, but you have to stick through with some of those guys and grind through a season. There's going to be up and downs through this season, and this is kind of the first down to where you're kind of like, okay.
Yeah, no, downs are fine.
Like, I'm not ready to just get rid of everybody. I'm with you. I think that they definitely need to add a reliever of some sort, and possibly, I don't know.
You're not getting rid of everybody. What I mean is you're just in a situation now. Downs are fine. You're going to have losing streaks. There will be another losing streak. It's kind of how they're losing. Like if they had lost those 2 games with Mize and Scooble because those guys had pitched poorly, and they just couldn't quite catch them in runs, and you lose a game. But when the bullpen was as bad as it was, like that is I'm not worried about Mize and Scooble. That's fine. That's going to happen. And if those 2 guys pitch poorly back to back, you're very likely to have a 4-game losing streak. The 4-game losing streak on its own, I don't care about. That's going to everybody. Minnesota's playing well, and the Guardians. Somebody just went 0-10. The Guardians or whatever lost 10 in a row, and now they're playing well. The Yankees have had a really tough run.
Like I said, the Dodgers, they lost 7 in a row.
Correct. It's going to happen. It's how it happened. The one last thing too, Motor City Tiger uniforms got to go. Like in a sports culture where we play for laundry, like laundry is what we're rooting for, right? That players change, lots of things change. What doesn't change is the old English D. Like you don't mess with a classic uniform. It was interesting because Scooball's pitching Friday night. My first thought, and he wound up pitching poorly relative to him. My first thought was, well, I hope he doesn't throw a no-hitter or a perfect game. I don't want a historic moment in those uniforms. What a waste. Like, it's just let's stop. I mean, and I know it's a Major League Baseball.
Rooting against a no-hitter so it doesn't happen in one of those.
It's when MSU football does those neon bullshit, you're like, you'd hope it's not a classic. I just
don't understand when you have a classic uniform like that, why you have to get so bored and you go, we got to have some sort of Motor City thing or
it's a Major League Baseball initiative and that's their choice. But like if you're the Tigers, you say, we're good. Let's not. And if you're baseball, you got a lot of classic uniforms. Let's screw that. You want to put the word Motor City on the back of the hats or something? Do that. Okay. What do you have any other takes?
So what we both agree on though is steroids are back.
I don't know.
Right. Wimbledon is being taken over by roids. Obviously, baseball. Rob Manfred is panicking. because ratings are possibly down, right?
Contract with ESPN's over, all that stuff. Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Now Cal Raleigh has got 38 effing home runs at the All-Star break. I mean, what is happening here?
Interesting.
But yeah, I do have one more thing here. I don't know if you watch the hot dog eating contest.
I did not.
On the 4th of July, I was outside in the morning, had the TV set up, and I'm like, you know what? Because I never usually watch it. I see Joey Chestnut wins the thing, usually, whatever. I did tune in. I got to say, it's complete ass. I know you hate the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and I know maybe it's anti-American, I love America and all that stuff, but watching someone eat that way is really disgusting. And we did go over to the Lugnut Stadium. I think it was last year when Joey Chestnut was there, and people were going nuts seeing this dude, and he ate like 15 olive burgers in 10 minutes or something like that. And thankfully, I was far enough away where you didn't really get to see him. I just don't like watching people eat in general. And then I'm tuning in and watching these people, and it's really not even eating. They're just mashing all of this shit. They're hammering dogs, but then they're mashing all the buns in water, and it's just like, I'm like, dude, I'm going to lose my appetite here. I want to kind of have some lunch here. So I think I just want to watch it after the fact and just tell me who won. But I think the 4th of July hot dog eating contest is ass.
I've always found it disgusting.
Right?
And you're talking to somebody who's been involved in several eating contests, including on this show.
Right. But you know what you were doing. You know, when you hammered those donuts, it's kind of disgusting. But you weren't hammering them, dipping them in water and trying.
Well, if I'm the hot dog industry, I don't want this thing. Because,
I've never wanted a hot dog less.
Correct. So I have my buddy Alex Hickey, and I'm sorry for putting you on it, my friend of mine, longtime friend.
All right.
Yeah, apologize. And one night in Chicago, we were in our late 20s, maybe 30 even, and it's like a 4 a.m., 5 a.m. night, and we wind up getting pizza, a little drunk, coming back from an Irish pub, and watching him eat the pizza was so disgusting that I didn't want pizza for quite a while after that. And I love pizza. Like
you didn't have to stare at him while he was eating.
It was hard to avoid, and we were both hammered. Like, you don't want disgusting eaters near you with your food because it's bad for that food. It's bad.
I just hate people eating, period. But yeah, you can give your buddy a pass. You didn't have to call him out by full name.
Apologize. It's
my absolute disgusting friend. One last thing, golf viewing. I don't know who needs to hear this, and I know that people that watch golf understand you have to have 4 different apps, streaming services to watch a golf tournament. I understand that I have to have those, but there has to be a better way to cover golf, especially as a gambler as I am. I missed the Scottish Open. I don't mind having to get up a little early, but it's more of when you have bets on certain guys to top finish in the 30s, the 40s, it would be nice to be able to have an a la carte kind of way to be able to watch those golfers. And like Jake Knapp, I love watching Jake Knapp golf, but I feel like I missed him in the Scottish Open I didn't barely ever got to see him play. And I feel like with all of the innovations with golf, when we were down at the Detroit Country Club for the Rocket Classic, I mean, there was drones all over. I mean, I figured there's a way for these guys to figure out a way to make sure we can see some of the golfers that we want to watch. It's just crazy. And then you have to go, well, what channel? Oh, it's on ESPN Plus. Then you have to go to Golf Channel at 10:30 a.m. And then Golf Channel only has it for a certain amount. And then Peacock has it. Then you got to go to CBS for the final coverage. And it's just, there has to be a better way for us golf nerds to watch guys we want to golf or watch golf.
Maybe our friends at Xfinity and Comcast can get on that, because I have a take here that they're going to like. And this was over the weekend. Friends are over, and they pulled up YouTube because they, and they're talking about how much young people are into YouTube, and I'm not just talking like YouTube TV. And I understand there are other, like YouTube has a situation that's somewhat like cable, but I'm just talking about the YouTube channel, and I we're on YouTube. Like, I like YouTube. I'm not anti-YouTube in that sense. I like the options, but relative to what like Xfinity offers in a package to stream or old school cable, however you want to get it. I stream my cable through Xfinity. And relative to that, it just sucks. And I think if young people just understood how shitty the stuff they're watching is, like, there would be a rebirth of cable in a lot of ways. Like, there are shows of people like making fun of people with disabilities, and it's not even remotely funny. There's a show, a really popular show where a guy goes to he and his wife go to all these different Airbnbs, 50 in 50 states. You don't even see the Airbnbs that well. It's poorly produced show, and yet it's wildly popular. I think like
What is this show?
but I was just anyway.
They're making fun of people with disabilities.
Well, there's one show like that. Yeah, they're making fun of. It's like it's ridiculous.
Oh, is that the show? T watches the dating on the spectrum. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think it's that. It's like young kids doing. Anyway.
Oh, all right.
Point being, like if these kids were introduced to TGIF on Friday nights on ABC in the 80s and 90s, like that is such a better. It's so much better quality, and like they don't even know what they have. Somehow what we need to do is trick their stupid little minds into the idea that cable is new. Xfinity is new. Xfinity's new thing needs to be brand new Xfinity for kids, because once they see what's actually offered to them, that's not scrolling through cable. And in this case, it's just cutting because this person's parents don't subscribe to cable, so they don't see all the other stuff. But once they see what else is out there, the full packages that are there, they'll realize that this YouTube shit, a lot of it sucks. Now, that's not to say our YouTube channel sucks. We love it. That's not to say there aren't options. There aren't things on YouTube that are great. I'm just saying, relative to cable and Xfinity and the prices they have there, it doesn't make any sense why this is what is addicting.
So
kids.
these people came over. You said that they presented YouTube to you. So they came over to your house and were like, "Hey, I got something to show you on YouTube."
We were just hanging out, and they were saying this is the show we watch sometimes, or like different things. And it was just like, boy, there's like 50 better shows on Xfinity right now through different channels, be it networks, be it other things, be it streaming. I mean, through streaming packages. That's one of the things. It was absolutely. I was amazed by that. Just how poor quality everything they showed us was, and how many people actually watch that stuff. And I thought somebody just needs to tell these young people about Xfinity, pretend it's brand new, and it'll be the new hip thing with
But if you go
people.
back and watch those shows that were on TGIF, I mean, it was terrible.
It was not
programming.
terrible.
No, it was exciting in the moment where you're like, Friday night, all right, we got a lineup. But I mean, if you go back and those shows do not. I mean,
TV has better writing. It wouldn't be like a special new Full House with like where somebody DJ tries drugs. We're not talking about those. That. But
she did in real life. But yeah.
I think it was Stephanie.
Oh, was it?
It was the other one. Yeah. Both of them had decent Hallmark careers. Not surprising. All right, should we get into these listener takes?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Eric Schultz up first. Number 1, it took Jay Batt like a week to do something about the Spartan Stadium experience. If this ends up being a noticeable improvement, it'll raise the question of what the hell Haller and Beekman were doing all of these years. And 2, the show has mentioned Tim Stout dozens of times, but the fact that 1,000 plus shows in, Jason drops the I witnessed Stout hotboxes family story for the first time is why you guys are amazing.
That was amazing.
I feel terrible because I thought I told that story before.
No,
because I've told stories about having to take Tim to the airport because he would pay me $60 cash, 30 each way. Like he would make to entice me to make sure I would come get he and his family.
But what gives me great hope for us as a show and our continued improvement is knowing there are 30 to 40 other stories in there that you just forgotten about that are going to come out randomly over the next 500 episodes.
I would see that's the thing. I'm not trying to hold them back. I just need something to trigger that like itch to kind of tell it, I guess. So sorry for holding back.
So the first one from Eric. So what I think he's referencing is, and while I was gone, Michigan State announced a partnership with Levy as their concessions provider. Maybe it's Levy. I think it's Levy on game day food and beverage experiences and a lot of their athletic venues. And what I don't know, and I'm not. This isn't saying that Jay Batt's not moving and shaking and his staff's not doing good things. But I do wonder if this is the sort of thing that's often been in the works for a little bit, and maybe it happened quickly. But this may have been something that was in the works because he at one point says our team has been in the release says our team has been hard at work with Levy to provide elevated concessions offerings. I wonder if this was already in the works pre Jay Batt as Michigan State's athletic director. If not, props to him. I do wonder what it means for a lot of groups in the community use Spartan Stadium as their a fundraising way, and they run the concessions. Maybe they can still run the same. I don't know what this will mean for that. I've just back from our 2-week hiatus, but there is some interesting stuff there, and I think obviously Spartan Stadium, the experience we hear it here on the show all the time needs an upgrade, and this is a good sign.
Free Ubers.
What about tailgating? Is he going to get on that?
Well, if he doesn't, then he'll hear from Matt C. shortly.
Dominic next, number 1. Mad Dog needs to be the first alternate next time Couch wants to take 2 weeks off for his next butt lift. Jesus, man. You can't work and watch Wimbledon? Yancey. 2, Couch said 2 weeks ago that kids don't care who the AD is when discussing Jay Batt. Not even 2 minutes later, he said Haller being a black AD was probably inspirational for kids. Bro, I'm sorry, what? I'm so sorry that Jay Batt is white and didn't go to Sexton. You are unbelievable. 3, Mia is a queen. Oh, thanks, buddy. Bonus, if you can't afford Mad Dog as a guest host, I want to volunteer myself and Kelvin Torbert to discuss the plight of men who have dated real-life hookers. Torbert is a great Twitter follow. Extra bonus, the biggest hypocrisy in show history is Graham constantly crying about the international break in soccer, then constantly disappearing for 4 months to knit sweaters and eat pasties in a log cabin with Sean Windsor and Los. Graham probably gave Los top bunk, too.
Pasties, Jason.
Pasties? What did I say?
Pasties. It's close enough. Yeah. To the first, or to number 2, on the idea that they don't care who Jay Batt is. What I mean is these recruitments that were happening in football. I'm not saying that an athletic department that has a good AD and is rolling along doesn't matter, but these recruitments with kids, were happening before he was the athletic director, and then the visits happened for many of them very shortly after he was named. Some before he was actually starting, and I'm not saying maybe there were things they could sell about having him there, that the football coaches could say. Maybe there's some clarity with some finances. Maybe I'm not saying there was zero impact, but I just promise you that who he was, like most players did not know his name before this, and with Haller,
it's a catchy name though, Jay Batt.
And Haller, I stand by what I said. I think that it does matter for some kids, or was something that would be noticeable for some kids, or at least their parents.
By the way, he mentioned Mad Dog because while you were gone, Mad Dog did appear, I was told, on Jack Eblin's show. And there's a possibility Mad Dog is coming back. Not only are steroids back, but Dave Mad Dog DeMarco is back. And there might be a Jack Ebling, Dave DeMarco reunion. I mean, spotlight might be lit here.
A lot of people don't know who Mad Dog DeMarco is. We had him on this show once, pre-pandemic.
Greater Mid-Michigan Hall of Fame, like for Lansing.
Right.
So I figured.
A lot of our listeners aren't in Lansing.
Oh.
So that's.
Mad Dog. He's the guy that shot me up with a B12 shot when I was at his condo.
What happened?
I told you that story.
I don't
where
think
Mad
so.
Dog shot me. He had a B12 shot. He's like, hey. By the way, Mad Dog is a guy I started my radio career when I was 17 years old. I interned with Dave and his radio show, The Sports Guy. So I've known Dave throughout my life. So he's been in my life. He was a radio host locally in this town for like 20 years. Crazy guy, sales guy, does all that shit. Anyway.
With the B12 story.
Yeah. So I was at his house, and he had, and so we were sitting there. We were having a drink, by the way. This is a long, long time ago. And he's like, hey, you want a B12 shot? And I was like, okay, what does that do? And he went to his fridge and pulled out one of those cold syringes of like B12. He's like, come here. And he's like, grabbed a piece of my fat on the side there, the little side fat, and then he jabbed me with a B12 shot. And I felt fucking amazing. And I was like, whoa, dude, where do you get these at? So he shot me up with a B12 shot at his condo.
That is a story almost worth telling, but told anyway. Presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. Great summer menu. If you go to a Midtown Brewing Company on Facebook, they've got it at the top of their page there. Some just fantastic stuff, from the Tap House smash burgers to sandwiches, salads and wraps. Fantastic appetizers. They just do everything really well. Love the chef there, and they've got great. They've added some things on with their happy hour specials for the summer. Some great drinks as well, including a strawberry margarita. Just some fun stuff over the summer at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing.
It would have been a better story if he had cocaine. If he would have broke out some coke. And
so do you remember when we had him on the show? Like it was like we couldn't get him off. Like I don't even remember. Like, I love Mad Dog.
Because it's very different because I did listen to the Ebling Mad Dog because I have to because I love that kind of stuff. So he's definitely more subdued, because he was living in Alabama now. So I don't know. He and Ebling were talking about there's going to be some reunion, which is funny because these guys have all talked shit about Stout, Ebling, Mad Dog. These guys all talk shit about each other. And then when something comes back up, it's like, oh, Dave, it's going to be unbelievable. I have you back here. It's like
Dave's actually a bit younger than those guys, too, by like 10 years at least.
He's 65, dude.
Yeah, those guys are in their mid-70s now. Yeah, he was when I first moved to Lansing, I used to do his show periodically and go in early in the morning, and yeah, it was fun. He'd give me a gift card to Milo's or someplace like that. And,
but I followed him. I follow him, Mad Dog, on Instagram, and he messaged me. He deleted my number and wanted my number back, my phone number. Anyway,
sounds suspicious.
Yeah. It's just a whole backstory. Sorry, guys, for boring you. But anyway, Mad Dog's back. Steroids and Mad Dog are back. What a July. Maybe me be next. Number one, encouraging listeners to save things for a July topic, then taking half the month off is diabolical. We're on to you. It's time for an ultimate July show in tribute. And two, we missed you. Do you know the trash we listened to in your stead? Some of us have learned things. It's positively anti-American.
Yeah, you're back here. You won't learn anything new here. We're
so you
back
were listening to
you.
Ebling then. You learned something.
Yeah. Apologies. Yeah, no, it is. Our July is truncated. I do think this month, though, really soon we need to maybe do maybe not this week, but maybe next week, where I read the questions to you. I think we're due for one of those shows on our Twitter question show.
I'll get extra high for that show.
Absolutely.
I have to have Treese drive me. Yeah. Kurt Wisniewski next. MSU football's most important games to win this year are Western, Boston College, and Minnesota. If they lose one or two, they will finish 5-7. If they win all three, 8-4.
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of games on their schedule that, you just don't know what the opponent's going to look like. I look at that Indiana game, and I know Indiana was really good last year, and I think they're well coached, but they were really good with a lot of veteran transfers, many of whom aren't back. Like, what does that program look this year? Like, is Indiana going to go through what Michigan State did from 2021 to 22, where you have this great year, everything's great, and then the holes in the program, which I don't think can be fixed all that quickly, are still there, and 5-7 happens or whatever. So I don't know that there are a few games to me that are interesting. Iowa is always interesting, and it's late in the year because you don't know where Iowa's heads will be. Their offense could be struggling. They struggle running away from you. Iowa's had games where they beat Michigan State handily, and they've also had games where they were supposed to be a lot better than MSU, and they don't. And we saw that last year. For example, and a couple years ago in Iowa City, a game Michigan State should have won. So there are a bunch of games that I think are really determining.
Jay Riemenschneider next. Everyone was so scared of a Michigan versus MSU football game being at night, but we've had 3 in a row and maybe a 4th this year. And from what I know, the world hasn't ended. Yes, there have been player scuffles, but that would have happened whether the game was played at 1 p.m. or 4 a.m.
So to some degree, you're right here. And I don't know if I can fully speak to this because I'm in the press box when they play these night games, and I'm not in the crowd, and so I don't know how extra inebriated people are. And they serve beer at these things anymore anyway, so they can't really blame anybody but themselves. I would wonder if anybody had an experience where it was just a little less pleasant with, you bring your kid to a Michigan State game, and it's like, this is a little rowdier, don't feel as safe. Maybe not. Maybe it completely is Maybe it's completely overstated. So you may be right on that. I just, from my vantage point, I'm not going to have a feel for how different the vibe is at night in the stands.
Bibby next. Hot take. Michigan is following the couch vision of adding elite offensive linemen with NIL. They're building a wall around Bryce Underwood. And bonus, Nick Marsh leads the Big Ten in yards, receiving, and touchdowns this year.
So what I think is going to be interesting with the rev share and everybody having like a baseline of $16 million to spend on football is you get to really decide your identity. And I think I'm going to get into a column on this soon because what I'm fascinated is what different schools choose. If you want to put more resources into your offensive line, you can be an offensive line school, and I think that's pretty smart, especially at a place like MSU. If you want to, try to save the money for receivers or defensive end, whatever it is, you can't have everything. It's sort of like to some degree. I mean, and there may be loopholes around this with collectives, although we'll see. And obviously there's legislation right now to prevent limitations on NIL. So we'll see what this actually looks like. But just talking the rev share alone, the stuff where it's really easy to say you've got this money and you're gonna build a roster with it. Even the top schools, you'll see it in the priorities. You got to have a couple million available for a quarterback, no question. You got to have probably $500K available for a backup quarterback, or you're going to lose that guy. There's things you have to do, but then you can really prioritize what you want to be. And like, to me, running backs and receivers easier to find in the portal. And I'm not saying when you get a Nick Marsh that you don't want to value that person. I think having the money to retain players who develop or are really good is essential. And so you have to make sure that's budgeted in. You have a guy, so say Nick Marsh wasn't Nick Marsh in terms of pedigree. Everybody knew he had a chance to be really good. But say Nick Marsh was who's somebody that
Andre Rison.
Nope, looking for a little less than that.
Muhsin Muhammad.
Nah, who was that white guy that Dominic hated? That Dominic hated, the punt returner for Michigan State.
Yeah.
Give me some honk
Sowers.
here for a second. Yes, Brandon Sowers. Well, he actually gave me. Say it was Sowers.
Dude, if you're going to bring up Sowers, I got to remember his name on first.
And so he actually developed into Nick Marsh, but you didn't plan on that. You got to have that in your budget to deal with, so nobody comes in and takes them away. That actually is where I would test the NCAA. I don't know.
Sowers turned into Nick Marsh?
Let's say that. I'm just saying.
Column. There's a column. Holy shit. I'd read that. Double click.
Point being, you got to be prepared for that financially. And that to me is where, when you look at the sort of pushing the limits of what the NCAA allows, that is where I would be willing to say, screw you to the NCAA. You don't have authority on this, or we're gonna try and make this work. Is not so much just brazenly going out and trying to get guys and circumvent the rules, but you should be able to keep your own players. And if you've built a roster, say that and you've got your budget for everybody, and all of a sudden, some team from the SEC comes in with an extra $1 million for a guy that you've already had on your roster, you should be able to work with your resources and your alumni and to make sure you're able to match that and keep that. And I would have no problem just telling the NCAA FU in those sort of circumstances, or at least testing the limits of it as well.
Tyler next. Couch wakes up in his Clima-Cool boxers, opens the curtains, looks out to the birds, lets out a big yawn, pours some food for Spot, and says, "Oh wait, shit! There's a show today."
That was Were you in my house this morning, Tyler? Yeah, that was this morning. No.
Would that be weird if he was in your house? I mean, you let random MFers in. I mean, you steal a cat. You have some other daughter from the neighborhood that swings by. Why would it be weird if Tyler was actually at your house today?
I don't know. We don't have a daughter from the neighborhood.
I thought you said.
Oh, we have friends who have a daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, my bad.
In the neighborhood. Yeah.
I thought that would jog your memory if I didn't know I needed specific details. You have multiple people's daughters coming over, or kids? I mean, what's happening here?
It's not.
That cats. You're taking people's cats, kids.
It's way
But
exaggerated.
Tyler, were you there? Absolutely. Anyway.
Way exaggerated.
Just a little. Matt C. Number 1. Just going to get this out of the way in July. If Jonathan Smith can beat Michigan in year 2, he can pack his bags. Or if he can't beat Michigan in year 2, he can pack his bags and go back to Oregon. No excuses. That school is a cesspool of trough-style urinal cakes.
Matt C is back.
Matt C is back, too. And I can't wait for John U. Bacon's new book covering that Matt Weiss scandal called They Asked For It. The Michigan media column. The Michigan media will somehow spin this into Michigan being the victim by implying that the victims should have used stronger passwords. And 3, very convenient, Graham. You took 2 weeks off right after the news dropped, confirming Michigan had sexual predator on their staff. Knew about it, and they still let him coach. It took the Detroit media longer to report on this than it does Wojo to find his mule.
So I actually think the Detroit media Detroit News maybe led the way on this. I don't, in terms of their coverage of it. People weren't hiding
the
this.
blue wall.
They weren't trying to hide this. I thought this was a decent moment for them and how things came out. You can't just make up stories that aren't reportable yet. And I think
why not? Where do I read those?
Okay,
I want to subscribe to that.
Where do I
put it? I'll put $8.99 a month into that. Come on.
Maybe we could have a separate LSJ section for stories we wish were true.
Yeah.
Well, Matt C. will be the editor of that. Yeah,
I'm in.
The to number one, Michigan's a more seasoned program than Michigan State right now. If they lose to Michigan in year 2, that's just not going to be the end of it. Now, at some point, that's gotta change, and you can't coach your worst game against Michigan. I think that's the other thing too. Like last year, part of the frustration is they were out of the gate looking like they were going to beat Michigan, and I think they absolutely could have, if not for a couple coaching decisions, maybe it wouldn't have happened, but that didn't help. And so and I think sort of the realization that rivalry was a little more than they realized was frustrating for people and should be. I don't think that'll be the case this year. I think they'll understand what they're getting into.
What if the game is a disaster? What if the Michigan game is like 48-0? See, that's where I differ with you. Yeah. I understand you want to give them time, but like we always talk about, how do these games look? And that's what I want to see. How does that mean? I don't want to say that because you're like, what if the Michigan game looks so bad and this team doesn't look like they're prepared and all that?
Right. You can't lose 48-0 at home. There's no question. It's a home game this year too. And the thing that made last year so tough, and I think hurt the way people felt about Jonathan Smith, was that it was the beginning of a 5-day or a 5-week just slog to the end where things just kept getting worse. And they had coming off that Iowa game that was pretty promising. If you look at it this year, and it's actually a pretty good home schedule this year when you get just talking historically brand wise, when you get Michigan, Penn State, UCLA, all at home. I think that's a pretty good deal. But they play Michigan October 25th. Then they play at Minnesota with a crucial game. Because what was the great things about what made D'Antonio great was not just that he beat Michigan and that he competed and sometimes beat Ohio State. It was that he didn't lose the games the week after. He had an incredible record the week after those games. They didn't lose stupid games the week after that Michigan State historically has. So the week after that, you go play a Minnesota program with an over-under win total of 7.5. Decent program on the road. A week later, November 1st. You got to perform there. Then you got a bye week for Penn State. You're at Iowa, Maryland at home. There's stuff to – but, what you don't want is you lose to Michigan, then – and it doesn't look good. You get thumped at Minnesota, and you got a week to stew on it. Like that, you can't – that's the stuff you got to avoid. The contract alone, unless he wants to leave, it's prohibitive. And I also think – I just think he's a pretty good coach. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't – think people should think that way. If the worst, what about if not the worst happens? And that's sort of I wrote that column earlier, that people should be a little more on the front foot with Jonathan Smith and his staff in terms of hopeful for the best.
I think you can think both, though.
There's a lot of
we have so much time before the season starts, so we have to sit there and ration out what's going to happen with the possibility of this happening. So I think everybody wants to root for Jonathan Smith and hope that he sticks around.
I don't know. I don't get that vibe that everybody's there. I don't.
Even if he wins.
Well, if he wins, of course, everybody will change their mind and say they were with him all along.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Money bag next. My Monday is better when Couch isn't on his 50th vacation of the year. Baked. Graham is a coward for not letting Dominic Matsey and the Rube host while he's gone. I don't want a part of that. What are you talking about? Bonus, the fact that Todd Anson is Harbaugh's best friend says so much about Harbaugh.
Harbaugh's a weird cat. Weird cat.
I know who Todd Anson is, but for the people out there, tell them who Todd Anson is.
I don't even know who Todd Anson. Who is Todd Anson?
I don't know. I was banking on you.
Oh, were you lying to me?
Yeah. It's the part of the bit, sorry.
Oh my God! Let me see. Hold on. That's the worst. It's the CMU trustie.
That was no fun.
Yeah. That's right. I knew the name was familiar, but I couldn't remember offhand. Look, I've been
the bit backfired on me. I was like, I have no idea. Who is it? Oh shit!
I've been out of it for a couple of weeks and not paying attention.
I've had my phone down. I deleted all of my apps.
Thanks, Moneybag.
What a brag! I deleted the Twitter app. Best day of my life. Jebediah next. Carson Cooper using Moneyball to turn into a taller Joey Hauser wasn't on my 2025 bingo card. Final Four lock if that actually shows up in season. And from Carson Cooper makes 10 plus 3-pointers this season.
So I'm looking for.
How about a 5-footer? Is he good from 5 to 7 feet? That was the problem last year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going out to Moneyball on Tuesday night this week and taking a look. I haven't been there in a few weeks, and just and obviously what guys do.
You're going to survey the scene, and
what they do at the Pro-Am is not always indicative of their season. We're well aware of that. There's the Pierre Brooks summer, there's the Tum Tum Nairn threes. We know that.
That was a good summer.
There also are things where you go, that's something to consider and look. And one of the things that Carson Cooper needs, and I think the most important thing he needs to do, is be a really, really strong defender. But if he's a guy who had one or two moves offensively where he could just give you a little something there, it changes who he is pretty dramatically. And people saying he's hitting shots and all this, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on there with him.
What do you think about the bingo card thing? People using the bingo card. I think I've had enough of the bingo card.
I use bingo.
Do we have to
card.
wait for the end of 2025 to stop using that as my 2025 bingo card?
I promise you I will use wasn't on my bingo card, or if you had it on your bingo card, at least once in the lead between now and Christmas, just for you.
I appreciate that. Then. Did I get to his bonus? Sorry, did I?
No, this is a separate. It was difficult because the previous one was from two people, and I separated. Anyway.
Oh, it's great. I like to figure it out on the fly. Bonus allegedly from Jebediah. Michigan fans still being triggered by trouble with the snap and 2015 MSU football in general. Confirms that they are the most insecure fan base on earth.
It just confirms it's a great rivalry, and it confirms what winning does on one side to the other side. Like Michigan forever had control, not forever, but for 40 years had control of that rivalry with Michigan State football. And then they lost it, and they lost it in a big way, and it was continuous. And that is a scar that there will never be confidence from Michigan. That people may on Twitter say, well, that's the past, that's history. Oh, these two bad coaching hires. That's a scar that won't completely be gone. Michigan State has lots of scars where they're not going to trust things. Michigan fans will always know that it's not certain that they will have a leg up on Michigan State the way they did for a long time because of that era and games like that and moments like that and everything that happened for a good chunk of a decade under Mark D'Antonio.
Ethan Charmella next. I feel pretty good about MSU secondary this season. 7 guys in from the portal and some in-house guys, hopefully healthy. Think it's the best position group after wide receiver and quarterback. And bonus, Xavier Booker has a stronger tenure at his new school than Trey Holloman.
So Xavier Booker at UCLA, I'm rooting for, and I'm curious to see what it looks like. I think he did need a bit of a fresh start. There were times where I thought it was going to happen for him at Michigan State, and the game at Maui this year against North Carolina, where he was mostly playing the 5, and I think that's what they're planning to do with him out there, which has its pitfalls. But he just stepped up. He was aggressive, and can he be that guy that he hasn't been in terms of mindset and physicality? I don't know. I don't know if you can be a decent rebounding team with him. But I know he'll think he has something to prove. I know they're paying him enough he's going to get a shot there. It'll be interesting because Mick Cronin is somebody who likes. It's not. He's not.
I will be watching Cronin the whole time.
Correct. He's
when
not a
Booker has the
guy.
ball. I'm going to be looking at Cronin. Like I'm rooting for. Obviously, we have to say that,
But no, I am
good guy.
I like
but
him.
Dude, come on. You go from Izzo to Cronin.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And in the realities of the new financial world, especially in men's basketball with the rev share, is Xavier Booker either had to go somewhere that was going to pay him for his potential or take a big pay cut at Michigan State because they had paid him really well for 2 years. He had been the highest paid player at least,
really
at
well.
least 1
he was
year.
Stealing money. What are you talking about? Paid very well.
And so they weren't going to continue to do that at that level. You can't continue to pay him more than Cohen Carr when Cohen Carr is producing a lot more than him, right? So that's
what did UCLA pay him?
I haven't seen the figure, but I guarantee it's in 7 figures.
7 figures?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, fuck.
Well, hold on. Let me see if I can find the number.
I am the passenger.
Cockburn.
And I ride and I ride.
All right, it's come on. Again, this is just rumored. This is I shouldn't even say this, but this is rumored to be at $1.5 million. So, but that's
for
not
1 year.
At least I don't know.
Lifetime contract.
No, it's a 1 year deal.
Jesus.
But everybody's a lot of players. I mean, the money is going up excrement. The right word, excrement. Anyway, the
exponentially
is the word I was looking for. Thank you. Boy, you are the wordsmith of this group. The And a lot of these deals happened, and they worked on the transfers before the rev share kicked in July 1st. So a lot of what you're going to see for the next year in men's basketball were these deals they were able to get in under the gun, and the way they did the payments allowed you not to. Because a school like UCLA and their rev share, they're only going to have like $3.5 million. Now you can have some money coming in from elsewhere if you can make it work, but football is where the money is, and men's basketball is going to feel that in a hard way in a lot of these conferences.
God, I couldn't imagine paying Booker that much. The Hondo Carpenter of Southern Maine next. You left me no choice the last 2 weeks but to find other podcasts to listen to. You've been demoted behind an in-depth history of Chester Arthur and a Chicago PD episode recap show. Turns out Hank Voigt kind of sucks, but Haley stays fine as fuck.
Appreciate you.
I don't know what he's talking about. Is that Chicago PD?
Chicago PD.
Yeah. God, there's a podcast recapping.
I think he's
a network show.
I think he might be making that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Possibly.
That would be crazy.
I don't know.
It probably does good ratings. Yeah. I mean, 55 million people. Oh, wait, that's the Equalizer with Queen Latifah.
Chicago PD does well. It does well. It's been on for more than a decade. It has to do well. Of course. Yeah, it's on NBC
Blue Bloods.
on Xfinity and on Xfinity Comcast. You can.
I know
see
there isn't so many great things to watch. You have to watch network TV. It's crazy. Clint Bainey next. Number 1, Spartans win 7 games this year, including 2 top 15 wins, 8 when you include a bowl game. 2, the NCAA unexpectedly comes down with the hammer on Michigan. And 3, parents of underage criminals need to step up and parent. The continual rampage of criminality across our country from underage kids falls on the parents, not the police, not the schools, not the judicial system. Parents have failed this country, not the system. Preach, One Ball. One Ball bonus take. Facts over feelings when it comes down to decision making. It's great to be back.
It's good to have you, One Ball. It's very good to have you. There are elements of the system that do fail kids, but there's no doubt that it starts at home. And you've got good parents, you got decent kids most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm still very curious what the NCAA does with Michigan, because I've thought about this a little bit, and if I had to guess, I do think there will be games vacated. And now what that means overall, that doesn't mean a championship's necessarily vacated or whatever, but I just think there will be.
So then who cares? They still have the national championship.
Correct. I don't know that they'll care, but it'll be another stain on that.
Tried vacating Reggie Bush's shit, and no one cared. He was still the Heisman winner, national champ. Well, vacate whatever you want.
In some ways, what Michigan did is I don't want to say worse than what Reggie Bush did, because what Reggie Bush did now is the norm, right? Now we're paying guys, and it's sort of ridiculous, but you're right.
Bulky Bartokomas next. The football stadium would be better off if the capacity was shrunk to about 45,000 and comfort was prioritized along with design to maximize noise. The only reason we won't is because of ego.
It's pretty expensive to do that, a rework of that.
Like how much?
I don't know. It would be a lot. I would guess because if you're looking to do that, you're looking to create an unbelievable modern experience. And I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. There are just a lot of games where more people want to be there. You don't want something that also becomes exclusive to where it becomes hard to get a ticket.
I think that's kind of what you want.
Do you want to get rid of the normal fan who can't afford to go anymore? I don't know that you do. I don't think you want to ever do that in college sports. You don't want to make fewer fans out of college sports.
Well, I mean, if price-wise, but if he's talking about making it comfortable and more compact, not having that upper deck or something like that just sits empty all the time.
Yeah.
I can understand that. I'm not talking about pricing. I want people to be able to go that want to go. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I don't want to overprice to price people out, but
my take is
I thought he was talking about making it more comfortable in there.
I don't think the stadium's that bad. I think if they're winning and you're out there with 75,000 of your closest friends on a cold day in late October when they're playing well, I think people are all in. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. I don't think it's that miserable. You got a trough, you got a beer. What else could you want?
Mark Van Dry next. If Sparty has the same issues with penalties, turnovers, missed assignments, last-second play calling, late substitutions, and poor clock management as last year, Jonathan Smith's seat should rightfully be hot. Fixing that stuff doesn't require talent, just good coaching.
So I don't think, there are points of last year where some of the things that happened on the field from a coaching perspective weren't inspiring from Jonathan Smith and his staff, especially that Michigan game. And then obviously, the team loses confidence and it starts to spiral a little bit, and they had some real injuries at the end that I think did make a difference as well. The thing is, you talk about a hot seat. Like, I just don't know what that looks like. And to me, you would have to be so sure that he couldn't get it done, because the amount of money that it would cost to buy him out would be so punitive for the program or somewhere else in the athletic department that you want to make sure. Again, we've seen disasters, and we've seen there are times, if you have the Bobby Williams line, you lose a football team or something like that. Things have to happen. But largely, I do not think. I think a really bad year this year would set up the year for the hot seat the year after that.
Ooh, the hot seat year.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be that year. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, more of your takes, some really good stuff still to come. Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Comcast Xfinity.
Firekeeper's Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen, Bar, or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at GoMuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday afternoon show presented by our friends at Comcast Xfinity. Comcast Xfinity is upping its game on no contract options for sports and connectivity, of course. And the new sports and TV package is available for Xfinity customers, featuring 50 broadcast news and sports channels, top sporting events, and everything, like watching the Club World Cup final. Amazing finish with Chelsea beating PSG. Most entertaining thing I saw, presented by our friends at Comcast Xfinity this past weekend, of course. And they also have Now Mobile, which is a prepaid service that includes unlimited 5G data combined with access to more than 23 million Wi-Fi hotspots. One of the things that I really like about their options with mobile is their pricing, right? The pricing with Xfinity Mobile, it's the same coverage area as Verizon, but a lot less cost. And go to Xfinity.com. You can check out those deals today. Back to your takes.
Ken Chu next. Is the NBA Summer League like Moneyball, or is Jace Richardson even better than we thought?
So it's interesting to watch. I watched some of his game the other night, and it's very clear that things are going to translate to a certain degree for him. Now, the NBA Summer League is not the NBA. And it's not the money all pro-am either. I mean, guys are trying to make the league. They're playing defense. You're playing against good athletes and all that stuff, just like you were in the Big Ten or against SEC schools and all that.
There's jobs on the line.
There's jobs on the line.
Yeah,
100%. And so I would say it's really promising what you're seeing. Again, I've seen guys have good summer leagues and not really go anywhere, but I think what you're seeing is he's going to be a pretty decent role player in the NBA as a baseline, just based on what we're seeing in the summer league and his ability to get his own shot and shot create and all that stuff. You just knew, and he's just a connector when he's on the floor too. He just makes people better. It's going to be, can he play point guard, which is what they want from him, and I think he'll figure that out.
And he can't come back, right? Like this is it.
He can't, legit. He can't come back.
God. Damn it. Travis Maynard. The way Trey Ford is moving at Moneyball has him looking like a bigger version of Tyson Walker. Could Trey Ford be this year's John Tanji? He'll have to be for MSU to have any realistic shot at keeping pace with Purdue and Michigan.
It's hard. The thing about Ford is he's had a number of years in college basketball, and he's had one season where it was at a smaller school where he looked like he might be that player. And so John Tanji was a hell of a college player last year. I don't think he needs to be that. They need him and Kurt Teng together to be the answer at the two-guard position. And if those two guys and their different players provide shooting and, scoring and consistency in that realm and defend well, and he's a good athlete, Trey Ford, and he's putting up big numbers at Moneyball, but, that's a lot of guys do that. I think there's nothing that I've seen at the Pro-Am that suggests he's not going to be what they hope. And I've heard from people, near the program that they're really excited about what they've seen from him. But, we'll see in the Big Ten. Can he be consistent? My concern with Trey Ford is consistency. When you look at his, you look at who he was last year, and I forget the exact stat, but he had more than 24 points a bunch of times and 8 or fewer a bunch of times. He was, his average was created by a lot of really high-scoring days and then some days where you got nothing. And, can he be a consistent guy for them? And do they need that? And some of that will depend on what Kurt Teng is for them, too.
Andrew Zuiza next. During Divine Ugochukwu's interview, he mentions he watched MSU in the tournament, especially when they started recruiting me, and I watched them a lot more for sure. Apparently that's what he said. So either Izzo had someone looking in the portal during the tournament, contrary to what he said, or Divine is misremembering or crowd-pleasing. And bonus, we need a federal law that bans stores and everyone from displaying or advertising any word or object associated with the holiday unless within 1 month prior to the holiday. Consumerism madness is taking the soul of this world.
What did you see already? I do think Hallmark
back to school,
Hallmark Christmas in July, I think is fine because Christmas in July is a thing, and I would say that's a great thing on Xfinity Comcast.
Is it a thing though?
It is a thing.
It's a thing with Hallmark and people selling shit like cars and furniture.
Well, I'm just saying Hallmark. No. I'm
Other
talking
than
about
that, Christmas
channel,
in
the
July.
Hallmark movie channel.
Yeah,
No.
I know what the Hallmark movie channel is. You bore us with all that shit all the time. I'm saying Christmas in July itself, it's just for 3 things. It's Hallmark Channel, furniture companies, and auto dealerships. They all use it. Yeah. It's not a thing. Nobody celebrates Christmas in July.
There is nothing more depressing than back to school. When you're not ready to go back to school when you're a kid and you start to see back to school sales, you're pipe down.
Unless you're a parent, you're fuck yeah, it's about time, dude. Back to school.
The problem is some of these schools,
kids out of here. Dude.
My sister goes back to school the end of this month, and most of the state of Indiana does. There are places. So if you're a national TV ad, you got back to school August 1st. Well, she's a speech pathologist, but yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, but she's in the school. That's I don't even understand how they have good teachers in Indiana. Maybe they don't, because if you're recruiting, if you're in Michigan, can you imagine and I understand they have a couple more breaks during the year. You can live in Indiana, crossroads of America, sweat your ass off in August in the classroom. And I understand they have air conditioning, so it's a little exaggerated. Or you can come up and get the extra month off and come up to Michigan and teach and live in the state surrounded by Great Lakes. I don't even understand how a single person teaches in Indiana. To the first point from Andrew on Divine Ugochukwu.
Why do you say it though?
Because I don't even know how to pronounce it. And
you just did, I thought.
Did I hit it?
Except
okay,
for
good.
you said it that way. It just kind of throws me off.
I can't wait to hear Izzo.
Ugochukwu.
It'll be
It's the American way, except America has gotten soft.
Ugochukwu.
It'll be tremendous. So they were out. Their season was bad. They were done pretty quick. So I don't, and he was, and the portal was happening while they were in the tournament. So yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, Michigan State Izzo may be focused on one thing in the NCAA tournament, and his staff. But the staff is constructed. They understand you have to have one eye on the portal. They're not naive.
And he has a staff of 20 people, right?
Well,
people probably check in with them and go, "We got this guy.
This is a guy to look at." Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised.
What's his name?
Now, kids often misremember shit and get stuff wrong and dates wrong, and you're trying to put stories together. How is that possible? So I'm also not saying that. I mean, that happens too.
I forgot about Stout blowing heat on his whole family. So
there you
on
go.
A family trip to the airport. Bag RE next. It's unacceptable that MSU has yet to retire Kalen Lucas's jersey. Please explain how Lucas is so underrated.
I think it's that last year.
Where's he at in your top 50? What do you do, 50?
Yeah, let me see. People probably think he's a little low. Hang on one second.
Through the city's backside, I see the stars come out of the sky. Yeah, they're bright in the hollow sky. It looks so good tonight.
So he was originally number 18, and he's fallen a little bit because there have been, Cassius Winston and guys like that have moved up. And some people may think he's low there. But yeah, I had him 18. And you could argue, because as I said, only 7 players in MSU basketball history at that point had won Big Ten Player of the Year, and Lucas is among them. And twice first-team All-Big Ten. Was number 5 all-time in points scored at the time, behind only Sean Respert, Steve Smith, Scott Skiles, Greg Kelser, number 6 in career assists. Good immediately and great at his best, all that stuff. 2 Final Four runs. He not torn his Achilles during that second round of the NCAA tournament. MSU likely wins a national championship in 2010. It's Izzo's second. He's remembered like this legendary guard in the way that, and he's a top 5 guy. And then, that disastrous 2010-11 season unfolds. I mean, I think Lucas would be in the NBA, and if he hadn't torn that, and I don't know. The way his career ended is I think part of it. Now, do I think a guy who's your 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year and is instrumental in a couple Final Four runs deserves to have his number retired? I think Lucas does for sure.
Spartan guy next. Braden Smith will enjoy the Big Ten assist record for a bit, but with Fear's extra year and his year last year, he will break the assist record again in 27-28.
It'll be interesting to see how long Jeremy Fears stays at Michigan State. He's going to have a long time if he wants to, whether he can turn himself into an NBA player. I think the best thing Fears can do, besides develop a shot and get as much of his athleticism back, is win big. Because it is still, the NBA drafts on potential in a lot of ways, but they also reward lead guards who take their college teams places. We just saw that with the 18th pick in the draft, the kid from Florida, who was not really on first-round draft boards before this year. You saw it with Mateen Cleaves going back a ways. Even Denzel Valentine, they didn't win the tournament, but what I mean is he was viewed as this elite college player, a college guard, so he went 14. You see a lot of that mid-teens to early 20s. You saw it with Shabazz Napier at UConn, guys who don't necessarily profile as automatic great pros, but they're so good in college and they're such good leaders and they do certain things that. So to me, the best path for Fears is staying at Michigan State as long as it takes him to be an elite college player.
Pablo Ciccone next. No sex for a year, or your favorite team winning the national or winning the championship. I think I could hold out on the sex one time if it means the Spartans to the championship.
For some people, it's not a choice. There's no sex anyway, so you might as well.
I was about to say,
yeah.
If you're married, it's over anyway, right? Do you still get HJs? Or is HJ? So it's like all sex. You can't even do yourself. Not to be gross, but like, can I just?
You got to be a master of your own domain.
No,
like
come on.
Seinfeld, yeah.
Have to at least be able to shuck one off. I mean, come on.
So
I hate these questions.
Yeah, this is where the advantage of me not really having a team. Like
Someone asked Chad Latz what he would say. Sex or a championship for Michigan State?
That would be a really fascinating answer.
Come on. Richard Kane, I agree with Jason on the Savannah Bananas. I watched the game on TV. It was kind of fun for about 3 minutes. When the novelty got stale, immediately, maybe it's more interesting in person or if you're a little kid. And bonus, Saya Suzuki being left off the All-Star team is objectively stupid. No All-Star status for the MLB RBI leader at the time is a crime against humanity. Well, Graham loves the All-Star game, so I think that he'll have a great take on it.
Yeah, I don't really have a take. But I do on the Savannah Bananas, which you're not. I mean, like, I watched them a little. Savannah Bananas on TV are sort of like a halftime show. Like, I saw it the other day during the Chelsea, only in this country, too. They're just so bad. Like, halftime, occasionally you get a good Super Bowl halftime show where the TV stuff's mic'd up well enough. For the most part, halftime entertainment that's shown on TV at major sporting events just sucks. And it just
all sucks.
Yeah, and it usually sucks when you're there too. Savannah Bananas, I guess are fun. I have no desire to ever go to a Savannah Bananas game.
No,
I have zero. It just doesn't. I'm not saying they're teach their own, and maybe it's a great show, and maybe somebody can convince me when you're there that it's really fun when you're in the stands because everybody's stoned or drunk or whatever. But I don't.
But even then, you're sitting there and I just want to watch a baseball game. Yeah. I'm just getting listen, I'm 4 years away from 50. I'm getting to that old curmudgeon shit. I get it's not for me. If you want to sit there and watch it, apparently sells out a bunch of stadiums.
Yeah.
So more power to you. I was just saying when I have watched it, I go, what the fuck is this? So, all right. David Jackson, hot take. If you're saying the Tigers are losing 4 in a row all at home isn't a concern, then you aren't being honest. Bonus. That Michigan is so fucking unrepentant over cheating and FBI sex scandals in the coach's office puts them on a whole nother level of douchebagginess. Is that a word? Douchebagginess? Baked, unexpectedly losing what might have been the best, two best players in all of college hockey in 26 is a total kick in the nuts. I see our fans acting happy for Howard. Not me. All I feel is the aforementioned kick in the nuts. Couch, you owe me beers when MSU hockey visits Columbus.
Absolutely. Beers on me, David. Here's the thing.
Why wait? Just come into town. Drive up here.
I do think that it was a rough week in that sense for MSU hockey. And this was always, I think for a long time, MSU hockey fans didn't think it was a possibility he'd be back, and then he was. But there was this possibility the trade could happen, and then it does. I get it. I get it. It's frustrating, but this is the world that MSU hockey lives in that they didn't before, where it's like, great players are choosing them or not. They're number 2 for Gavin McKenna, and they lose out on Isaac Howard. And it's a painful week, but it's just such a different sphere than they used to be in.
Joey Buckets next. MSU football's offense will be very good this year, and this might be because they are fun to play with in NCAA 26. And bonus. Football has ruined people's brains. The Tigers lose 4 games in a row, and people act like the season's over. Not saying they don't have issues, but come on.
Yeah, I think the concern for people is just how bad their best arms have looked in the bullpen. That's the concern. It's like, whoa, and I think they do need the break right now. I think the break comes at a good time for a reset. But they got to make moves there.
But season's over, people. Come on. We have to stop listening to those people.
Yes.
You should view those people and go, wow, I will never talk sports with that person.
Baseball.
Boom, get out of here.
You should only be able to tweet about baseball once a week because it's a sport where you have to have time to think about. And the thing I think I tweeted this out not that long ago was, to me, any take you're going to have on sports should be at least 10 minutes after the event ends. Because
that's rough.
I
want to be first, though.
The 3 quick takes not included because I need that for work. But what I mean is that I think the takes just get better when you have a second to sit on something, and they just get more. Not philosophical is too much, but they just get a little deeper, a little more perspective, and I think they get better. And I think if somebody tweets anything, look at the timestamp. And if it's not with 10 minutes after whatever happened, then ignore it. Their brain is just.
But even if you wait 10
emotional.
minutes after and you go, the season's over, I don't care about your take. If you want to sit there and rip Scooble for a second, like I get getting frustrated with guys in the moment. I mean, that's about being a passionate fan. It's the people that are, we give these people too much focus of the people that say those things and just fire it off or call 97.1 and say, well, the season's over. Like, okay, that's not true. You don't believe that. You're just trying to say that because you're frustrated right now. But I don't know if you need to have one take a week. And what if you're one take a week? Okay, so you wait 2 hours after the game. Well, the season's over. So is that validated? I mean, your take still blows.
Yeah, it's a dumb take, but you're less likely to have that take if you wait 2 hours.
I don't think so. I think some of the people that have that take, it's just going to stew in their brain.
There's a lot of stupid people in the world. There's nothing you can do about it.
I understand. Yeah. Kevin from Rochester Hills next. Number 1, the American Century Golf Tournament is more entertaining than any live event. And 2, the Tigers will collapse in the second half of the season and not make the playoffs.
There you go, Kevin. We know Kevin's just being a little facetious here. I cannot imagine them losing the lead. Part of the reason I don't think they'll lose the lead they have, and look, a year ago it happened to the Twins at a massive lead, and the Tigers caught them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Twins are like this awful, awful team. Like I think if the Tigers really, really played horrible baseball, it could get a little interesting for a minute. But I also don't think any of the teams beneath them are good enough to likely make that run. And I think the Tigers will also do something. One of the good things about this happening now with the bullpen for the last couple weeks, and especially this stretch, and not like in mid-August for the first time, is you can do something about it. You got clarity. And when we were talking about this, a month ago, should the Tigers go get a fear bat? What should they do? And it was sort of like, well, let's wait and see what happens. They get Parker Meadows back. Let's see what that looks like. Well, Parker Meadows looks lost offensively. Yeah. And so, he's not, what do you do there? I don't know. And I don't know if he's somebody you can play consistently down the stretch the way he's playing. I'm not saying you give up on him yet, but I'm just saying, giving yourself time to realize where your flaws are. Now you're in mid-July. Now you've got an opportunity to try and go fix it, and you're going to have to give up some prospects to do it, but it's worth doing because you've got the best record in baseball. And so with that comes the obligation to chase after a team that can win in the playoffs.
And we talked about how teams slump. Players, obviously, they do it. Riley Green had his slump at the beginning of the season. Torque has it all the time. I mean, Meadows just needs to go to the Bunny Ranch on the All-Star break and come back brand fucking new, and we'll be fine. Max, next. The league is starting to catch up with the Tigers. No, the sky isn't falling, but there are other good managers out there, and they may have figured out our pitching. We need a couple of trades to shake things up before the playoffs. See, now, Max's take versus the season's over, right? It's just obviously there's two different. He's saying the sky isn't falling for him. It's just that's why I say we have to just differentiate who is saying these things and stop. We sit there and always talk about the people that say the most off-the-wall shit. Everybody this morning has been, wow, the season's over, people. Those are like 3 people, and don't listen to them.
Yeah, no, they have to get better if they want to win in the playoffs. There's no question about that. I think we all know that. The season's not over, but and they will win the division. If they don't make a single trade, I think they're going to win the division and be in the playoffs. If they don't make a trade, though, they're going to have to play a good team in that wild card round, and I don't know that they get out of it. If they can make a trade and continue something close to the pace they're on, they got a chance to miss that first round and be a team that's scary in the playoffs.
Yeah, bye weeks are ass, though. Sparty Barb next. Welcome back, Graham and Jason. Izzo will land a European player this summer to add depth to the rotation. And bonus, MSU's Grace Van Sluten will make first team all Big Ten this season.
I'll be very curious to see what this year looks like for Robin Fralick. She lost some key people a year ago, but she lost more this year. They have really good freshmen last year in the interior with Van Sluten, those two together. I really think Robin Fralick's a fantastic coach, and my question with the ceiling of that program is to what degree they're able to recruit. And they've added transfers. It looks like an interesting roster. I'm very curious to see what it looks like.
Spartan 18770, with MSU announcing numerous layoffs, all non-revenue sports should be nervous. And Bake Take, glad to have you guys back. See you in another 4 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, we're off now. So
when does football start?
It's still
8 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks. Not that long.
Shit.
It's a
week 0.
To the, I think all revenue sports are nervous, and they've been nervous. They've been nervous since the talk of revenue sharing started. Since people realized that football was going to take a large chunk of the revenue back to the players. because that's always been revenue that's helped pay for them to some degree. So I think non-revenue sports are nervous. And I think you have to win. You have to be relevant to your community. You have to provide value in other ways besides revenue. And I think a lot of Michigan State sports do.
Andrew Gauthier, next. Normal. The Tigers need a bullpen arm now. Hot. Chelsea wins the Premier League this year and baked. Chris Gotterup will be on this year's Ryder Cup team.
So Chelsea is like 18-1 right now to win the Premier League. I think something like that. Maybe it's whatever it is. It's worth some pizza money. It's not bad.
Which pizza company? I mean, dude, it's like $40 to get a pizza now. Are we talking that kind?
Whatever you want to do, whatever your units are, whatever yours in your budget. I would say, yeah.
Gotterup, I like him, but he's going to have to be a captain's pick. Munfield Keg next. Arsenal signing striker Victor Gyökeres. How do you say it? What's the O with the little things over top of it? What is that supposed to make me?
I don't know, because
you're supposed to like hawk with it.
We watched a show called The Our Murders on Netflix, and it was like it was the A though. The A had the two dots above it because it was Swedish.
So what do you do with it?
I don't know. I don't.
You guys didn't discuss?
We didn't. We just turned on the subtitles so we could make sure we understood what they were saying.
Victor Gyökeres is the move I've been waiting forever for. They are finally a threat to actually win the Premier League. Also, part of the reason for this take was me wanting Jason to read the name Gyökeres in the first show back. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you, Munfield Cake.
Gyökeres.
It is what Arsenal needs. And like when you watch Chelsea beat PSG up, and it was partly because they were the more physical team. I think of Arsenal, and I think of Arsenal with a striker. I think Arsenal with a striker may be the best team in the Premier League still.
Skylar Verdon next. The U.S. soccer head coach recently said something along the lines of U.S. fans should be miserable if the team loses. I hate this mentality, and don't go telling me it's a soccer thing that I just wouldn't understand, Graham. You say all the time MSU fans need to chill out. Sports shouldn't affect your mood that much with the exception of a few big games.
Yeah. The best thing that can happen,
like the 49ers-Lions game, NFC Championship.
Well, that's a big one. What just happened with the U.S. soccer shouldn't make people miserable. Number one, the best thing that can happen to U.S. soccer is that people care less about the national team, and it gets bigger. And like in most countries, most countries, the club world is where it's at. The club world is where it's at. Only in this country where we didn't have clubs and we still only have MLS do we get obsessed with this U.S. team constantly. And I'm not saying people don't care about their national team, but it's different here relative to other clubs, and it's. I wish we treated U.S. soccer. I wish we treated international soccer more like basketball. The NBA and basketball treats international basketball, where the Olympics are cool every 4 years, and a coach who's in the NBA comes off and coaches the team, and we care. It's great when Curry and Durant go off, and it's fun and it's important, but it does not dictate the way we think about basketball for the next 3 years in between.
Thomas next. Conference-wide events should never be moved out of Chicago or Indy, and media days being in Vegas will only make them even more irrelevant to the average college sports fans. And bonus, there really needs to be a mandatory vacation in the summer.
Very much agree.
For everyone.
Yes,
not just us at the Couch in the Rube program.
I think bosses don't do it. They do this better in other countries. People come back refreshed. You get more out of people when they have time. I think every person's. If I was running a company, it would be mandatory at some point in the year you took 2 weeks off together because it allows you to check out. Like 1 week is great, but that second week it's like you forget that you even have a job for a minute, and it's a wonderful place to be. I wish more people could enjoy that. This is talking about Big Ten Media Day being in Vegas next week. Like
dumb. You're
right. I'm not going. Like now. Do I think there are good stories there? Yeah. Do I? If I knew Michigan State's got a new AD and there's some. It seems like a year to be there. I would definitely go if it was in Indy, and I didn't go last year, but I would have gone this year.
But what would you get if you went to Vegas that you couldn't get around here?
That's the question.
You have better access here.
Maybe there would be something, and maybe you'd wind up in a conversation that you get by being there, and maybe there's enough issue-based stuff. The problem I have with the media days and putting a lot of resources into it, and I always say if you go to media days, you better go to everything because it's the least important thing of any of the games or anything else, and the fans aren't that engaged. And people can say they're engaged. We see the numbers, and year after year, the stuff you write after that gets half the readership it does by mid-August. People are checked out. It's July to most people. It's an event for the media. And in Vegas, there aren't even any. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was in L.A. At least there are 2 Big Ten teams now in L.A. That would have some sense to it. But Indy was perfect. Chicago's pretty good. Vegas is just stupid. It's just ridiculously stupid.
Gavin next. It's that time of the year where takes are increasingly hard to come up with, but I did see Superman Thursday night, and it surpassed my already high expectations by a mile. Amazing movie. One of the few in the past few years that's felt like a reward to see in theaters.
I kind of want to see the F1 movie in the theaters. Have you seen either F1 or Superman?
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
My wife hates Brad Pitt, so we can't go to F1.
That's right. Why does she hate Brad Pitt?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her. It's like a whole. What is this? Not like there's a lot of women that do not like Brad Pitt because of the Angelina Jolie thing of like there's this whole thing on a plane where he threw like a drink at one of his kids.
It's not just like and she doesn't like him personally. It's not like he's an actor. Well,
I haven't got into it because it's so shocking at face value that I haven't really like gone into it. With her of like why do you? I just know it's a no-go on the F1. So I was kind of like I'm not really into F1, but all of our movie stars are kind of aging, and I'm kind of like with Tom Cruise. Do I really like all of his movies? But I do think that if you're going to jump off a motorcycle in Brazil and do a backflip and shit, I'm going to give you $20. But
well, and it's weird how you can just not like certain actors for no real reason. I mean, I've had
like who?
Well, like I just remember my dad didn't like Andy McDowell or was it Andy?
Really?
Or Andy? Or
Andy,
Andy.
Yeah.
It was in What About Bob? Like I love for whatever reason
he didn't like her. It must have reminded him of like an ex or something.
He just couldn't stand her as like a lead love interest in any movie. He couldn't. He just like What About Bob, which is a classic. He couldn't take her being the.
Did you ever ask him?
I think something she did just annoyed him. And
I understand that. But if my dad was like anti-Andy McDowell, I'd be like intrigued,
That is, by the way, a story almost worth telling, but told anyway, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, downtown Lansing. A great place for a summer date, brunch on Sundays, trivia Tuesdays. They've got Thursday themed trivia that you can see on their website. Different, they just had Disney themed trivia. Lots of cool stuff. If you go to the Facebook page for Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. And, of course, the American Stout, my favorite beer, on tap right there.
Joey Shaver next. In my spread projections for all 12 MSU games, MSU is only favored in only 5 games. 3 of those are by a field goal or less. They're at least a touchdown underdog in the remaining 7. It sucks to say it out loud, but under 5 feels like the play.
So I saw these spread projections, and some of them are look like they're probably close. I think the spread's too big, and I don't know what Indiana will be by the time they get there. I think there are a number of toss-ups. I think
what was the Indiana spread?
He had like 8.5 or something like that, and it's on the road. So we'll see what they are by the time they face each other, and it's like October 18th. But I think Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, these are the games that you're going to have to win if you want to play in a bowl game. Nebraska on the road. Nebraska could be tough this year. But you're going to have to win one of those games on the road if you want to play in a bowl game. It just is what it is. And if you can't win one of those games, and not all those teams are going to be as good as as people think. And we'll see. MSU's got to be better. If they're not better, then they're not going to win any of those games, and it's a long slog.
Jarrett next. Number 1, Bryce Underwood will get benched at some point this season. 2, James Franklin will be fired at the end of this year.
Goodness.
Didn't he just re-up, Franklin?
Yeah, I don't know what his contract is.
I mean, if Jonathan Smith's buyout is 30, I mean, he has to be up there, right?
He just went to the playoffs. I think the playoffs are going to save Franklin because he's going to go a lot. Bryce Underwood, I don't think – well, the thing about Bryce Underwood is he will struggle at some point because he's a true freshman. And the question is if you want to give him a break, I mean, that's the challenge, right, is if you have to play the best quarterback for the team at some point. You don't want to lose a guy's confidence. I think one of the challenges with a really – big-time contract for a freshman quarterback is if they're not the best guy, how do you deal with that? And if they're still your guy moving forward and if they're making that kind of money, I think it's a tricky situation. Maybe he'll be pretty good. But freshman quarterbacks usually struggle to some degree.
Scotty Green's El Camino and Couch on Fire next. Bad week for MSU hockey, losing McKenna and Howard in the same week. Just bad timing, or was there a misstep by Nightingale? I get that the team is still loaded, but losing both could have not been the plan.
Well, it definitely wasn't the plan. I don't know if I don't think there's a misstep. He was rumored to like Penn State for a long time. I don't know what the relationship there was. Michigan State was the other person that got him on campus, and think about that. I mean, that's not something that would have happened before, and it stinks because finishing second, you might as well finish last. And part of the challenge for MSU hockey right now is you've had, in the initial rise, all that's left during the regular season is there really isn't anything left. Like it's the postseason. That's where they haven't done anything yet, or at least in the NCAA tournament, they haven't done much yet. And so something that would have been exciting was having McKenna around, McKenna and Howard on that line, and like that. And there's another guy thereafter who's got to make a decision between he was a high draft pick and whether he's going to go to the NHL or spend a year in college hockey. And I think they're in on him a little bit. And so there could be another person that could still be a really, really talented team. But it would have been electrifying and fun for McKenna and Howard to be there and be there together. And it sucks for them that it's not. It's just It just is what it is, but I don't, I mean, it would have been amazing. I don't know where else to go with that. I'm sure they're disappointed too.
Scotty Green, guess what didn't happen while you were gone? No statement, no penalty, no accountability for CMU regarding Stallions. Every day that goes by concerns me that nothing will happen. And Baked, Graham told me that Mel Tucker is on Epstein's list.
We don't have enough time for all of that.
I did not.
It's redacted.
I did not say that. I just want for the any legal filings did not say that.
Yeah, he did not.
Yeah, did not. Yeah. No, there's no CMU statement. I'm waiting for the CMU statement, just like you. It'll be interesting. At some point, the thing that when the ruling comes down against Michigan, I think that'll be the CMU will come near from. I mean, at some point there will be a statement from CMU. There will be some accountability, but I don't think it happens before the Michigan decision.
And what if Jay Bad just came out and said, "Yeah, all that's bullshit"? He would be a legend. He's got to come out against CMU. There was no way I would not be able to do that.
So if Jay Bat got "fuck CMU" tattooed on his chest,
well, why do you have to go crazy?
I'm just saying, if
we went 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds, dude. He's getting chest tatties.
It's not what I would do. I'm just saying, if he did that, what sort of legend would he be for him?
I don't know. I'd be so concerned. What does he do? Like rip it off like Hulk Hogan at a presser? Like
there'd be other reasons to be concerned. Yeah. It's a good point. This is the guy running.
I was just saying a statement, like CMU's ass or something. Yeah. Send.
Good point.
He's getting chest tats. Couch on fire. Fragile Tiger fans will be spooked until they get a chance to win again next weekend. Way to take the shine off and remind us this bullpen is still very suspect and the Achilles heel of the team.
Yep, but it's better now than later, and it's time still to fix it, and it's going to be a little costly, but they've got to, the team has earned this, and this is why you have a good system.
I mean, there's always slumps in a season, no matter how great of a team you are.
The bullpen has been a little concerning.
Absolutely. I understand concerning. I'm just saying that I think people are getting freaked out by the losses piling up. And I feel like that happens no matter who you have on your team.
It's the way they lost. But yeah.
G. Quang, next. The Tigers ushers our ass. I went to the Tigers game wearing my college refs are ass shirt and was told to remove it due to profanity or get kicked out. Come on, stop clutching the pearls. The average baseball fan is in their 50s. They can handle it. Ass isn't even a profane word.
Yeah, you can get ass in a newspaper story these days pretty easily. Yeah, that's amazing. You didn't say the umpires were ass. You said college refs are ass, right? So that's.
But should you get kicked out? You can't say the umpires. You couldn't wear an umpires are ass shirt.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't.
Is that a true story, G. Quang?
I'm sure it is.
All right. Well, just gotta ask. DMB, I don't know what's worse. Nick Sanders getting a scholarship or the big, beautiful bill. Before you try to gift wrap a turd, Couch, you'll never convince me a 5'10 Nick Sanders ever sniffs the roster without his famous dad, who can afford the tuition, in the first place. And bonus, you shouldn't be able to walk a round of golf unless you are a sub-16 handicap. Embrace the golf cart, all you shitty golfers.
You're a cart guy, right? You're not a walker.
I am definitely a cart guy.
Yeah, same.
I don't, honestly, if you want to walk, but you have to have some self-awareness and play in golf fast and play ready golf.
Correct.
I really don't care if you walk it or whatever, as long as you play fast and you play ready golf. So if you enjoy walking, that's your exercise. Do you need to hit every single shot? If you duffed 4 in a row, 5 yards, maybe pick one up and take it up towards the green and chip one up there. Or, you can do certain things it's your money. You can walk if you'd like to. I just don't like playing 6-hour rounds. So that would annoy me.
As for Nick Sanders, you're going to see this a lot more because they're not going to, because of the rev share, they're not going to have 13 scholarship players. They're not. They're going to have 11, 10, that range. So every year they're going to have a couple that are just there, and you might as well use them. And they're going to they're going to reward senior walk-ons and guys who have been contributors to the programs in other ways, and that's why that.
But does it matter at the end of the day, though? Those guys that are the 11th, 12th, 13 guys, these walk-ons, that everybody loves Nick Sanders. They talk about him glowingly. Like, it's good to have those guys on there. Like, what do you want, a guy that's going to get a couple minutes or something, or what are we mad about?
Yeah, no, and 100%. Like, I know that it was a former manager who asked, Izzo the favor originally about Nick Sanders, but I'm sure being Barry's kid, doesn't hurt either. And that's
but that doesn't get you. I mean, like, there's so many people that nepotism it doesn't because you're a celebrity.
It got him on that stuff gets you on as a walk-on. But what got him the scholarship was what he did last year, and then having one available more than anything is what does it. Right.
Matty B next. MSU feels like almost university. Almost had an elite hockey roster. Almost had Jabari Parker, McKenna, and 1,000 others. Almost had a title appearance in 2013. Almost had Izzo's second natty, but Lucas Achilles and Appling's wrist.
Yeah, but most schools probably have a lot of almost. There's you can
not as much as Michigan State.
Yeah, it's the what if.
I just looked it up.
The what if place.
MSU has more.
There you go. I mean, they've had a pretty elite hockey roster, but you're right. They almost had a hockey roster that would have been like, some sort of winner. Jabari Parker, but they've also landed guys. They landed, they didn't almost get Miles Bridges. They got Miles Bridges, right? It was Kenyon Martin who had the injury in 2000 that allows Michigan State perhaps to win the national title that year. So, you can look at every situation. They have had some that are, that you can easily point to and go, boy, that team was close. And they've been close a lot. And there's no doubt about that.
Sports Guy 1919, I never like to rush time as life moves too fast. However, these July days take fucking forever with football right around the corner. Fuck time to get me to August 23rd for college football kickoff.
Boy, August 23rd, that's the week 0 games are bad too. Like the week before that, you get the Premier League.
Doesn't matter.
That's all I need.
Week 0, you get excited.
Do you? It's bad football.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with week 0.
But it's back. That means it's back, though.
Problem with week 0 is this. And this happened to me a couple years ago. I'm in Marquette, happy place. Wife was at a bridal shower. Go to a sports bar, and I've got the Liverpool Premier League game on my phone. And up on the TV, got it was the Northwestern versus somebody in Ireland game. And, man, it reminds you of, like, it is 4 plays, 4-minute commercial. It's just such a shit product. It really is.
Why are you doing this right now? We're trying to get excited for football.
Sorry.
Why are you, dude? You're setting the scene for all the ads. I know.
Football. Sorry.
Jesus,
sorry.
This guy.
Apologize. We'll have to fix that in post.
Fucking July, dude. We're trying to get excited here.
I'm gonna ask.
He just wrote in saying how it's a grind.
Apologize.
Oh yeah, the 4-hour commercials. Fart soup next. What's on my mind? What's on my mind? I'll tell you what's on my mind. You boners take 2 weeks off thinking, oh, the pores won't miss us. Well, guess what? Not only did we miss you, but I could have used a few shows after herniating a disc at the gym. Yeah? Feel bad now? Shame.
I feel humbled that when people say they missed us, I feel humbled because it amazes me. But I do know when I have a good podcast that I like and it's gone for a while, I'm like, oh,
I'm furious.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Even when they take one show, like Drew Lane will take one. Like I looked for the podcast this morning. And I said, what the fuck? You guys take a show off? What's wrong with you guys?
And so
I need to be entertained.
I'm grateful and humbled that anybody would view us in that light where it messes with their time, and we apologize.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Hans Jurgen, next. Number 1, we need a pitcher, not a belly itcher. Trade for a fire-breathing closer, please. 2, I found 20 other better Spartan podcasts while you were gone.
Easy to do. Easy to do.
Is it? Better? I mean, I'm sure there's 20. Anyway. 3, if I had to turn gay, it would be for Zach McKinstry, and then Graham would flat out murder my Bonus. Yes, I watch the Tigers too much.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Good time of year to watch the Tigers too much. Even when they drive you nuts once in a while.
I can't believe you were telling people about how long the commercials are in football. Trying to get us back into it. Jeez, such a downer. Jake Hawkins next. Number 1, the Twitter algorithm has pissed me off before and really did the last time there was a Twitter question show. I put in 5 really good ones, only that I was way past the time to submit them. not a notification about it from the day before. With the CEO stepping down, better improve.
I think we got yours in, though, if I recall. I
I really feel like we wouldn't. Yeah.
If we see them, if they're, we try, Jake.
2. So this Tigers team is just like the 1984 one that saw a season series swept by the Seattle Mariners. Still doesn't mean that the 2025 team should be the favorite to win the World Series. Get some much-needed help for the bullpen in the next few weeks, near or at the trade deadline. And 3, vacation destination idea. Want to go somewhere warm but don't want to go all the way to Florida for whatever reason? Try Virginia Beach, Virginia area. Hot and humid, but nice tourist spot with a nice... Did you just say
Yeah. Hot and humid. I don't like that.
Oh, okay. Hot and humid, but nice tourist spot with a nice beach on the Atlantic Ocean. You even get to see the fighter jets flying and practicing.
That is cool.
And bonus. Graham, when I asked you what character from the show Homicide, Life on the Street, you're most like, I can definitely see you being Tim Bayless.
Yeah, I get to be Bayless. Yeah, I guess so. I don't mind Bayless. It could be worse. Would you rather be Munch or Bayless? I'd rather be
Is
Bayless.
it because I don't know what the guy looks like?
No, he's not a bad-looking guy. It's not.
You're just bummed about his character.
No, he's okay. He's just not.
You're not excited about being
not
compared to.
He's not Yaphet Kotto, or something like that. Would have been. But I'm not. I don't look like Yaphet Kotto, so that wouldn't really work. Yeah. So there's that.
All right, and finally, Upper Deck Jerk Guy. I think Jonathan Smith might just surpass D'Antonio if he is given the time. And bonus. Tomatoes are fruits, therefore ketchup is a smoothie.
I do love ketchup. Ketchup on a pasty. It's like one of the best things in the world.
That's a pasty, actually.
Oh, a pasty. Sorry. Yeah, we'll get that right. Sorry. We'll get that right. We appreciate all of you. And thanks for those of you who put up with us being away. And, staying with us and producing our show as always. Because really, when we're away, we're trying to give you a vacation from producing this. I won't lie to you. That's not why we do it. But we do very much appreciate you. We'll be back. We'll be back Wednesday. We'll be back Friday this week. We'll be here all week for you. Appreciate Comcast and Xfinity. Go to Xfinity.com. Look at deals. Look for deals today. And again, just remember, if young people discover cable now and they think it's a new thing, it's actually better than the alternative. We appreciate our friends at Midtown Brewing Company as well. Even when we tell bad stories, great place for a date night for any occasion. We'll be back soon. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.